Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Tam's story. And we're picking up right where we left off, as you have just finished an altercation with some suspicious individuals who you recognize from the Mint. The Aurelian Royal Mint that you've left recently, you appear to have been followed. You have a single coin of Riverine
Yes.
in your possession, and that appears to have been what all this hullabaloo was about. And as you wash Skolna, Hiram, and Sagona finish off your opponents, all of them lying unconscious on the ground, you hear the rapid, heavy footsteps coming down the streets of incoming guards. And you think
Yeah.
it might be in your best interest to not be here.
We're gonna fucking bolt. Do I have time? Can can Skolna hide and make just like a real quick like perception or investigation to sort of like get any sense of who we knew that one of them was in Gold's Watch armor, or Gold's Watch cloak or something like that, like of anything they might have on them, like not loot the bodies, but just like or the people because they're still unconscious,
So
but just
you
like
actually, so they're
any
actually,
sense of
you notice that they're in Aurelian soldier armor. They're in
interesting.
military garb.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, that I think that's all the information that we're gonna get. We're fucking bolting. We're getting out of here, and I'm gonna be like, Skulna, where do we go to hide?
Okay. You are using Skolna. She will try and help you out here.
I'm going to enhance ability Hiram to give him advantage on stealth,
Okay. That might be
and I'm
wise.
gonna guidance. And I'm gonna guidance myself.
Uh, is guidance concentration?
Oh, you guys, yeah, you're right. I don't do that. Um, because I can't do both at once. But yeah, enhance ability on Hiram,
Okay.
and Arctic Inspiration to Sagona.
Okay. Skolna, like, climbs down off of the roof with Wash quickly following, and she leads the way down an alley. And I need your party to roll stealth. Uh, One moment while I clean up this mess.
That's not good.
Where did Sagona go? Oh, right here. I opened her character sheet and then immediately lost it. Okay. You gave Hiram advantage.
Yes.
Hiram is actually remarkably quiet.
Oh, is he already good? Would I know that? Is he already good still?
He's good at stealth.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, he
I
never has a
imagine
problem being quiet.
it's true. He doesn't. It's true. I think I, the player, noticed. I feel like Tam would have noticed that, but I was like, heavy armor.
He's not in
Um,
heavy armor.
he's not. I
He
thought he
wears
was.
half plate,
Oh,
which
I
is
didn't
about
know
as
that there
heavy
was.
as medium armor can get, but he's not in heavy armor.
Oh, I didn't know there was a difference. I'm sorry. I should have enhanced ability myself. That's fine.
That's okay.
I
Your
made
party did okay on your stealth roll. You
I
were the
made the choice.
lowest.
Yeah, I made the choice that I made.
Wash rolled a 27, which definitely
Of
helped.
course, 'cause she's a monk. She's a monk. Sure.
You and your group scamper away from the scene of the crime. Uh, and as you get like a block over in the side streets following Skolna's careful guidance, as soon as you have broken vision, Skolna like goes from a sprint to a quiet, paced, quick walk that just looks like somebody is trying to get somewhere, but doesn't look like they're running from a crime scene. Which is perhaps a guise that you recognize as one you should be wearing when running from a crime scene.
Oh, a quick rock. That's
Yeah,
like,
one that looks
I
like
don't.
they're going somewhere they're supposed to be. Not
Yeah. That's what Tam's gonna mimic that immediately.
roll performance.
Do I have advantage? No, I guess I only have advantage with Soul Singer, huh?
Yeah, you're not You're not
It's 26.
playing an instrument. Yeah, your performance is great. I don't what you don't need advantage, okay? DC for someone like this is like 12. So you pull it off, it turns out. As you make your way through the side alleys, you hear the sounds of guards shouting behind you, but they're getting quieter, and you think you probably got away clean.
Okay, that's great.
The most important thing is you do not hear bells.
Yeah, that's good.
Which you kind of thank that your party did not kill anyone. Which, if anybody
Yes.
had been slain, you're confident the bells would be ringing.
Yes, I mean that was good. It was a good shout for him to be like, "Don't, no magic, knock them all out."
Where are you going?
Uh, Tam's instinct is to go back to Cabby's, but in case they are being followed, it would be great to sort of. And do I have a message now? I think I have a message now. Nope, I didn't take message. But I think Tam will kind of quietly try to get Skolna to kind of weave them. We definitely were leaving the Hightown district.
Yeah, you're getting out of Castletown. That's fine.
Yeah, we're definitely getting out of Castletown. And then just kind of like weave around a little bit before we kind of snake back to Cabby's. And I think what I will do for extra insurance is I'm gonna slip, because Skolna still has the Riverine.
Yep.
Try to get her to get it back stealthily and quick. While the rest of us kind of like snake a little bit more around the kind of the other side.
I don't think I understand.
So we're gonna get out of Castletown first.
Okay.
And instead of going directly back to Cabby's, we're gonna like take kind of the long way back, and then before we head to Cabby's ourselves.
So you're separated.
Yeah, we're gonna separate a little bit. Skolna
Okay.
is gonna go ahead of us, quickly and quietly, and avoiding all traps, hopefully.
Sure.
To get information back.
Okay. Skolna gets the message and separates, and you're intending to meet back at Cabby's eventually.
Correct.
Okay. I will roll stealth for Skolna separately. Okay. As you and the rest of your group take the long route, going out through the fog rock, out into the old district, and then, like, you walk for like 45 minutes. Just going from block to block, trying to shake any pursuers. Roll me a perception check to see if anybody is following you.
Okay. It's not too bad. 16.
A moment. With a 16, you don't think anybody's following you.
Well, could be a rogue and I missed it, but we don't think anyone's following. That's great. Do I remember where? Oh my gosh, sorry, it's been a minute. NPC names. Our Golden Guard, our Gold Watch contact is right now. She's doing something, I think. She was the one that told us.
Kaisa?
Kaisa.
She said that she was going to look into the Gold's Watch.
Okay. We're not going there. Yeah, I think we're gonna make like we're just kind of walking around town. I think Tam will like stop and get some street food. Like trying to make it look as convincing as possible that like, no, there's nothing wrong. We're just hanging out.
Okay.
We're just browsing shops. And like just for a little bit before they will wind up back at Cabby's.
Sure. Roll me a D100.
Cool.
A 38. Okay. You you happen to stop at a cook shop, which just was in a convenient location off the side of the road, open and with lots of business, making it really easy to blend in. And as you do, you find set before you, kind of like out on the wooden platform at the cook shop's like surface where they show everything that they make readily. They have like 3 things available for you to pick from. One is a dish called a grave of small birds,
Oh, that's
which
a hard name.
it's like a wooden platter covered with various sorts of what looks like poultry. They all look like they've been heavily cooked. They don't look great. They all look like they've been cooked longer than they need to be.
Sure.
Next to that, you see is something simply called a boar tenderloin, and it looks like a slab of pork over potatoes and various vegetables underneath it. And finally, there is a large bowl that is labeled dragon turtle soup. But looking at it, it just looks like a stew. It doesn't. You don't see anything dragon turtle-y about it.
There's no dragons. There's no turtles.
It might be turtle soup.
It might be turtle soup. I think we're gonna go for the middle option.
Okay, the boar tenderloin. Okay, it is 5 silver pieces.
5 silver pieces. Well, that's expensive.
Well, it's. I'm sorry. If you're not feeding your party, it's 1 silver piece.
I will do 1 silver piece. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not feeding the whole party. They can get whatever food they.
Sure. You eat the boar tenderloin, you gain 4 temporary hit points.
Oh, rad.
It tastes pretty good. It's well seasoned. Goes down easy. You kind of like when you indicate that when you want the dwarven cook behind the stands like gives you a platter of it. So clearly the one that you saw is just like a display. And you kind of join the various other people at this cook shop that are eating at the wooden platform. It's a very good way to shake off anybody looking for you. You just look like somebody standing at a cook shop.
That's the
eating
plan.
lunch.
That's the idea. We're out here. We're gonna eat lunch. We're gonna go back to our lodgings.
Sagona also buys the boar tenderloin. Otherwise, your party just kind of waits.
Cool. While we are sitting and eating lunch, because Tam isn't gonna talk about this shit out in the open, but he will look at Sagona and say, "Do you want me to wait on that news until that? Remember, I was gonna tell you some research that I was doing at the library."
She looks around and she says, Is it sensitive? Is that a problem that there are people here?
I mean, it's me. Yeah, you're right. It's maybe a conversation we should have together. But did I tell you that I reached out to my dad?
I don't remember. Maybe?
So I asked him, he's a cleric, so I asked him if he knew anything, and he gave me some leads. Anyway,
Your dad's a cleric? I knew
yeah,
that.
you knew that.
It's a joke.
I think there was like 2 seconds where it's like Tam is like, what? oh, you're joshing me. Okay. Yeah. So we'll talk about it later.
Okay. And she tears a piece of the tenderloin away and she says, you could really pound this. It would make this a lot less gamey.
Is she talking to the chef?
Yeah. Who's like working the cook shop. He just kind of like, Not really any committal answer at all.
Do you want to cook next time?
No. I'm paying for the convenience, not the quality.
I see.
And then she goes to hop off her stool. You hear, behind the counter. Yeah, keep your pants on.
I'm gonna. I thought I was thinking about this. I think I'm gonna make a habit of, while we eat, I'm gonna talk to Wash a little bit and teach her some words in common that are like, like we're in the city. I'm like, okay, so I like whatever meal is, the different parts, like the pork and the potatoes and the vegetables. Like, okay, here it is in Primordial, here it is in.
Okay.
Just like little language immersion stuff.
All right. Roll me a intelligence check.
Okay.
And she will as well. Okay.
Oh, 7.
Oh, don't worry. She rolled a 1.
Oh.
So, like, as you're trying to, like, convey this to her, it's clear Wash is not accustomed to being illicit. She's, like, nervous and looking around and paranoid. And so, like, as you're, like, explaining, she's like, yeah, okay. And is not looking at you at all.
I think part of why he's doing that is because he's like, I don't know, I think Wash is worried. So he's trying to
She's clearly on edge.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Like, a couple times, like, after you've, like, described something, she just looks at you and says, what? Sorry? Just
okay.
Not paying attention in the slightest.
He will do his best for a minute and then okay. Eventually, about the time that they're done with lunch, a leisurely nice lunch. What is Hiram doing, by the way? He's just hanging out?
He's just standing there looking. Okay. Like, he's kind of just being an intimidating presence.
He's keeping watch, sure.
Yeah.
I also would like to, I don't know if this is even at all, but I do have the feet and I can't be surprised. And so I think that, like, even as Tam sort of looks like he's being, he's kind of just like having conversations and eating his food, he is also kind of like, he also, it's not like his head is on a swivel, obviously, or anything, but like his ears are perked up.
Sure. You're paying attention to your surroundings. You are expressing what a person with the alert feet looks like.
Yes.
Which basically is always on edge.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It makes sense for his kind of anxiety.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. We are gonna circle back around to Cabby's.
Okay. You're out in, like, the Fog Rock district, which is not super close. You have to get up to the Windstar, so you begin making your way to Cavies.
Can I make another perception check to see if there's someone around?
Sure. Go ahead.
Natural 20! 25.
Your group is getting some looks, but no one is, like, tailing you.
Okay, great. That makes me, the player, feel better, but I don't think it necessarily makes Tam feel better, but because he doesn't know he rolled a natural 20, but, like, I think as they get closer and he gets kind of more of a sense that they're maybe okay and they're not being followed, that's going to help him a little bit.
Fair enough. You get back to Cavies with no further incident. And as you enter, you do happen to see old Alacaster seated at his regular table with Annabelle across from him. And he is flipping a coin between his fingers and talking to Annabelle.
Tam will come in and sit across from him.
Right.
Glad we got something. We weren't followed.
Your purple friend there filled me in on some of the details. You had a little bit of a scuffle.
Yeah, I would call it an ambush.
Tell me about it.
One of them had Gold's Watch regalia. The rest of them looked like Aurelian soldiers. And one of them was working for the Mint, or at least appeared to be.
Shit. All right.
We couldn't search them or anything because we had to run in case there were people coming.
It's best you weren't found at the scene. That
was my thought.
That was the right move. This, and he holds the coin up, which now that it's in the lantern light of the tavern, it is a beautifully made coin. It looks like real currency.
Hmm.
You see on one side is the head of a sphinx with like a crown pointing 4 spikes up off of it, and then as he turns it around, you see the other side has a mountain with wings cresting off the back of it. And he says, "If I didn't know, I'd say this was real."
It
And that's
sure does look it. There was also a smell of salt in the that was strange for a forge, but maybe not strange if you're smithing Riverine.
I don't know specifically about the means of smithing Riverine and salt. There are lots of ways to make metal come out clean and pure when casting. I could see salt working. It might be a byproduct of the seawater infused in these materials. I wouldn't know for sure. But first things first. And he
Hell
sets
of a
that.
weapon.
Huh?
Hell of a weapon.
Which?
The coin.
Well, first things first, we need to confirm this is the same Riverine as we found out on those farms.
Oh, that's smart.
We can't just draw conclusions from what we found. This might be no room for doubt is what I'm looking for.
I understand. What do we need to do that?
Oh, you can leave that to us. Old Annabelle here's a real wonder when it comes to identifying metallurgy. And she just is like she has a book open, and the book is pretty thin, but you see that there's all sorts of like very technical algorithms laid out on one page, and she has a lens over one eye that she is looking down at the coin on the table with. She does not even look up as he's talking
she's
about her.
She's deep in what she's doing. That's fair.
Also, we need to make sure there's no enchantments or markers on the coin. Make sure no one's tracking it, no one's watching it. So it's
That
going to stay right here.
Yeah, that is smart. I feel like there's a high possibility that there is some tracking because the person that was at the mint seemed to know that Skulna had taken the coin right away. And she wasn't even in there with us.
That's a problem. All right. You might want to up that on the priority list, he says to Annabelle, who nods, puts the lens away, and then she reaches into her pocket and she brings out a rod that has what looks like a golden crystal on it, and she begins like tracing it around the coin. And as she does, sparks, blue shining sparks, ring off of the coin, and they quietly fizzle over the table as she's working.
Is she casting like dispel magic with
This sort of looks like.
Is that okay?
Right.
Interesting. Cool.
He looks at his pocket watch and he says, "We might be hearing back from Kaiser any minute now." She said she had a lead to look into.
Great.
So, stick around. I'm sure she'll be back soon enough.
Okay. We are a little beat up from the fight, so we're gonna take a little bit of a rest, I think, if that's okay.
Go get yourselves washed up, maybe change back into your armor.
Yep.
It looks like your common clothes don't do much for stopping knives.
Not so much. But you know, if we survived, we're okay.
Did anybody die? Any on their
No one
side?
died. Nope, we made sure not. Made sure that didn't happen.
Well done. Look at that. They are professionals. He says to Annabelle, who is not looking up still. Right. Go ahead and get yourselves cleaned up, rested. If Kaiser comes in while you're upstairs, I'll call for you.
Will do. Thanks.
He nods, and then he picks up he opens the book he's on, and he picks up what looks like a protractor as a map unrolls itself on the table. And he seems to be now focusing his interest in what Annabelle is doing.
Amazing.
As that happens, as you have this conversation with him, the purple hatted and glowing individual, Turk, kind of like appears next to you.
Hi.
Hi. Quick question.
Yeah.
Those folks you were talking about that jumped you. You said that some of them looked like military.
Some of them did look like military. Yeah.
Do you remember
Or
what they
well,
were
at least
using?
what they were, the weapons that they were using.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them had, I think, a short bow. Um, I know one had a sword, a scimitar. I think he slashed me a couple times. I would have to. I don't have this in my notes. Unfortunately, I don't have the weapons in my notes. Can I roll a history check?
Sure.
Yes, 22.
The ones dressed in Aurelian military garb had long swords and longbows.
I knew there was some kind of bow. Long swords and long bows. Did I with the history check? Do I know if they're like a relic make, or is that helpful at
You
all?
did not get a good look.
Okay, got it. They were too busy
They
cutting
were
into my
being
blood.
swung at you, yes. You did not take a gander at the make and
Yeah,
quality.
fair. So fair.
Turk nods. All right. Rumor has it there's some loyal factions of the Aurelian military that are maybe taking advantage of this situation. And we're worried that maybe Demeric might be trying to win over more.
I see.
And
Convert them
if
to his cause.
right, and if they were if they weren't using pole arms, then they weren't heavy infantry, which is good because there's no reason heavy infantry would be in town. So
Okay.
that's what I'm worried about. If they
So
weren't,
he's maybe, but are there any there aren't really a whole lot of military here, are they? Other than guards?
well, the guards aren't military.
I see.
They work for the, well, the city guard works for the Justicar, and the Gold's Watch work for the Crown, and they
But
kind of
he
hold
is,
each other in regard.
so the idea is that he's probably converting people that are here already.
That's what we're thinking, right? They're trying to expand his influence over the military, which is another jurisdiction. It's
One one of them did have a watch cloak, which I suppose is not surprising considering that they're already loyal to him.
oh, what were they using?
Do I remember with that 22?
A short bow.
Short bow. I knew there was a short bow. He had a short bow.
Okay, that's. I need to look into that. All right, thank you. And
Sure thing.
Turk like tips his hat down as he like pulls a notebook of his own out of his coat and he begins making notes.
Turk,
Hmm?
before you leave, I mean, we didn't kill any of them, which is good, but they did all see us, and I couldn't use deception magic like inside the mint.
Right?
So, are we? Does that mean that we're not useful anymore? They will. They're unconscious, but will come back to consciousness probably like around now, and they do know our faces.
Um, they'll have to explain why they were attacking civilians out in the street.
That's true.
I think you're probably fine. Um, especially military they shouldn't be in town. They shouldn't be fighting civilians on the streets. So, uh, they'll probably try and keep that as quiet as they can.
Okay. Okay. It does mean that whoever they're working for, they might get our descriptions though. So that's maybe
Oh,
something to
I'm
be aware
pretty sure they already have. As he looks over at Alacaster and Annabelle,
of. Okay, that's fair.
pretty sure they know exactly who you are.
Well, that's true. They did try to pin a murder on us.
Yeah, I'm afraid your start here was not as subtle as we might have hoped, but we pick up the pieces and we keep moving.
Yep. Well, we have information now, and that's good.
It's all we need. Information is the key to winning any war.
It's true. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. And he looks back down at his book.
Are we doing catch your breath for these? Can I have a short rest?
You can take a short rest, but it's going to take an hour.
Okay, got it. Okay, but we haven't.
That is
we did-
specifically when you finish initiative.
Oh, I gotcha. We did putter around for 45 minutes, but I don't know if an hour goes by before Kaisa shows up. But
You can just click the short rest button.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Tam is intending, if possible, he is intending to rest and like bind up his wounds.
Yeah,
and
your party's going to take a short rest. Everyone can do the same.
excellent. Oh,
Let's see.
hang on, I didn't roll my hit die. I forget that that's a. Do that separately.
Yeah, your party takes a short rest. It's no big deal. I'm not going to press you for that. Okay. It is not long after you get upstairs and you like get yourself cleaned up and changed, when you hear in your mind Alacaster's voice. Could you come on down if you don't mind?
Sure thing. He does so.
Okay. As you do, you see that at the table with Alacaster and Annabelle is Kaisa. Oh,
Hi, Kaisa.
it bugged. One moment, please. Things don't always go to plan. A moment. My foundry has decided now is a moment we should mess things up, which is great.
Oh no. Do you want to pause?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you come down the stairs. You see Kaisa is at the table. It's now maybe 4 in the afternoon, and she looks nervous. She's like on the edge of her seat, leaning over the table, one hand on the table and the other pressed to her temple, and she looks up at you as you come down.
Hi, Kaisa.
Hey!
Doesn't look happy.
No. She's not. She is basically... She looks like somebody who is uncertain about her current situation.
Okay.
She looks like she hasn't slept very well. She looks anxious. And you see Alacaster, like, is looking not at her, but up as Cavi approaches and sets, like a pitcher and a mug down on the table. And Alacaster nods as you're approaching. Why don't you, take a deep breath? Because clearly you got a lot on your mind. And we're here to help. Tam, take a seat.
Tam will sit down and look kind of anxiously over at Kaisa. Hey, you want to tell me what's wrong? How can I help?
She looks at you and at Alacaster, and then back at the mug, and then at the coin that's sitting in the middle of the table. I need some assurances. I've found some things that I don't like. Some things that I really don't like, things that don't match up. Things that, had I found them back in Shorewatch, I'd have no issue bringing to my superiors, but here, well, let's just say I don't know who I can trust.
Yeah. What kind of assurances do you want?
Who are you all, really? Alacaster looks at her, and then at you.
Looks at Alacaster. Yeah.
Well, I'm Alacaster Craver, world-renowned and famous gunmaker. Out of Black Powder, Saris. I'm sure you know the name. Recently set up a new forge and foundry in Port Refuge. Or, I'm sorry, Port Sanctuary. Been doing it all my life. And this here is my granddaughter, Annabelle. Annabelle Craver. She has a similar interest in firearms and metallurgy as I do. And Kaiser, like, looks a little confused and she says, all right, so what does that have to do with me and this and the shit I found and him? Well, you see, at first one could say it's all because potassium nitrate's becoming a lot harder to get a hold of. What with all the laws being passed and exports around here getting all dried up, but that's really not the reason. It's just an excuse. That's what I say on the paper when I need to explain why I'm setting up shop over here on this side of the pond. The real answer. And Alacaster looks up at Kaiser and then over at you. It's a little bit of vengeance. A little bit of honest to God, need to be earned justice. It's little old Demrick. And frankly, the old man is digging his own grave. It's making it easy for other old men like mine and myself to call the whistle on him. He's made a lot of people unhappy around here, as my friend here can attest.
I can. I've talked to a lot of people. Um, I mean, we've talked about this before, right? Like, a lot of the businesses in the kind of poorer districts have closed. There's parts that are just fully not policed anymore. All of that stuff goes back to Demrick, and I didn't lie to you. I'm on the side of Mug. I mean, I'm Marigard, you know that. But I believe in this, and I didn't lie to you either that I'm Can. And this isn't gonna end without Demrick being off of that throne.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage because of Alacaster's help.
Amazing. Natural 19 for 30.
30. Okay. Kaiser looks at you and then over at Alacaster, and then she reaches into the leather jack that she wears, and from the inside pocket she pulls a small piece of paper, and she unfolds it and lays it out on the table. Upon this paper is, well, how often would, if ever, would Tam have handled, like, the paperwork back at the temple?
That kind of was mostly his whole job.
Okay.
Like he did a lot of clerical filing stuff.
Okay, then you recognize a bill of lading. It is a receipt from a checkpoint along the glideway, which is what is basically the railroad track that the Earthglide trams follow.
Sure. That we saw the train coming with the river.
There is a checkpoint. This bill of lading is declaring that the goods traveling upon the freight train 131, it is declared as farm equipment. And it is signed by an official of the Silver Express, which means that someone is saying they looked at the freight, it is what it says it is, and everything is what it's supposed to be.
But it's been bought off. It's clearly not, because it was Riverine the whole time. As we
Uh,
know.
yeah, that's what Kaiser goes on to say, is that this is not farm equipment.
Nope.
This is the first piece of hard evidence I've found, aside from just Riverine being here. This is the first example. A paper trail. You know where I found it?
Where do you find it?
She looks at you, Tam. On the body of a halfling.
Oh no. The guy that you were talking to.
She, like, looks around the tavern and is, like, bouncing her knee. This is a problem. I found some... Well, I heard some problematic rumors. That not all of the Gold's Watch are originally Gold's Watch. Not all of them come from the City Guard like they're supposed to. Rumors that some of them come from some mercenary company. I don't know. But a lot of them are loyal to Demeric over the city. I know that just from what I hear. Which means... Go ahead.
Annika is dead, is what you're saying.
She nods.
I wonder if that's also what happened to the other murdered person.
I don't know, but somebody's covering up a trail.
Yep.
I just found that. Not 20 minutes ago.
Okay. So, I guess the question now is, do you believe us? And do you want to help?
Yesterday, I was considering hauling your ass in myself.
Yeah, I know.
This changes things. I need to change who it is I'm talking to. I thought signing up with the Gold's Watch would be the best way to help the city. Best way to help anybody. It works right for the crown. Less red tape. But I was wrong.
Kaiser, it still might be the best way to help the city.
No.
Just not in the way you thought.
Well, not in a legal standpoint, I guess. She looks at Alacaster and Annabelle and then back to you and she says, yeah, I want to help.
If the laws aren't just, are they worth upholding?
If the laws aren't just, they need to be changed.
That's right. And there's really only one way to change the kingdom.
So if Demeric off the throne's the right answer, then I guess I'm helping.
Thank you.
And then she folds up the paper and she puts it back in her jacket and she says, which means we need to go to the other side. We need to get a case built for the Justicar.
Tam kind of furrows his brow. Are we sure that the Justicar isn't, like, in the pocket of Demeric in the first place?
He might be, but the Justicar's the only one who can overrule a King's Moot decision. Short of bloody rebellion.
I see. I Tam says I see and then looks at Alacaster, not knowing how much to tell her.
Alacaster raises an eyebrow, and he says, "What do you know about the Justicar?" Kaiser looks between the three of you. Annabelle still is like head down in a book with the coin in front of her. She's still working, so it
Okay,
doesn't
I
seem
was
like
actually
she's
gonna
even.
ask
It
because it
does.
seems like that seems like another avenue of proof. I was gonna ask if she was done. It seems like not.
Kaiser goes on to say, "Justicar Vale? Well, I know what I've heard. I've never had to work with him. The city guard answers to him. So, the city guard isn't in on this shit, so. Or at least if they are, they're in so much deeper than I can see. Have you seen any evidence the city guard is also in on this shit?" And that was at you, Tim.
That is directed to me. As far as I know, it's just the Gold's Watch. I haven't spoken to too many of the city guard. Well, there were some people that looked like city guard that ambushed us, but it's unclear whether they are actually city guard or they were just mercenaries in that
No
way.
one looked like city guard that ambushed you.
No one looked like city guard. Okay, they just looked like Aurelian military. Okay, good.
Again, the Aurelian military is not the city guard.
They're different. They're different things.
They're
Sorry,
very
this is
different. It's
okay.
okay. I know there's a lot
There's
going on.
three different branches: Gold Watch, Aurelian military. I think because we had talked about like one of them was military and they were in the city. Okay, got it. Yeah, as far as I know, the city guard is not involved.
All right. Then
They've been helpful and nice, in fact.
here's what I think. We need to talk to a trustworthy guard member. One that can keep their mouth shut. One that has some authority. Who can bend the ear of the Justicar. And I think
Do you
I
have
know
any
just the
ideas?
guy.
All right.
Uh,
Tam
the
is secretly hoping it's his friend that he made.
the half-orc.
And he's clearly just a beat cop guy,
Yeah.
like not like Tam knows that that's not the case, but is also still secretly hoping for it.
Kaiser unfortunately goes on to say, those that I worked the beat with had called him Sergeant Edie. I think his name's Elias. I don't actually know if that's his real name. I know what he looks like. And I know he usually runs the beat out in the Four Forges.
Okay.
You'll know him if
Um,
you see him, because he's always wearing the city guard sergeant's armor, which is he polishes to a mirror sheen.
so essentially, we need to convince him that this is a real thing and that he can start working on a Justicar case for us.
That's where you come from, or that's where you come in, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can if I'm allowed to borrow that piece of evidence.
She pulls the paper out of her pocket and hands it to you, and she says, "It'll probably get me killed anyway."
I was going to say that might be the case. Yeah.
I need a place to lay low.
You can stay here.
I think we can find a room. Cavi's always been very hospitable. Just go tell him that I sent you, and he'll set you up. Kaiser nods. She doesn't quite get up yet. She says, "I hope that all of this is just weird coincidences and some gang making problems. But the more I see, the more you three seem right. So, she just gets up and heads to the counter. Looks like you have a sergeant to talk to.
I guess so. It's getting a little late in the day. Do you want me to do that now or?
Might be a morning thing.
Yeah, I can do it in the morning. And especially if Annabelle can identify, is it gonna take a couple days, or because we can know, that's another piece of evidence I can show.
Annabelle glances up for a moment and she says, "An hour."
An hour, great. I think it's also worth noting that the press will be on our side. I think.
That'll help. It's always good to have the public's eye. Um, is that
Oh,
Knox fella you were talking about?
that's that. That's right.
He hasn't come by yet. You did send him our way.
I did. Yeah.
All right. We'll see what it comes of him. But with the good detective on our side, that's at least one insider we might be able to lean on.
Well, here's what I want to know though. Is it? Are you still? Do you want to build a case, or are you waiting for, your secret weapon
Oh, why not attack things from multiple angles?
from multiple angles?
The old pincer maneuver. Because
Well,
if they're doing something truly illegal, from what I understand, if the Justicar and the city, well, not just the city, but if we can get the Justicar and then Justicars from other cities to see this, sees Demeric's trying to pull some economic coup, might be able to overthrow them all on our own.
all right.
I didn't know
My
he was
only
digging his own grave.
my only worry is that if the Justicar doesn't side with you, if he's already in his pocket somehow, because my worry is many, many, many people in the city, well, many rich people, many people that are sort of already kind of on Demeric's side. It seems like he's very good at talking to people and giving them the things that they want, especially powerful people, because that seems to be how he won the King's Moot in the first place. He
Mm-hmm.
delayed a bunch of the people, but also he gave a lot of stuff. A lot of the businesses in the poorer districts are closing down, while all the businesses sort of funneled to the upper districts. So the poorer are getting poorer and the richer are getting richer. So what's to say that the Justicar, who's really important and powerful, would not also be corrupted and would come after you and also maybe come after any chance we have?
Oh, if the Justicar decides to come after us, well, it'll be bloody, but we ain't going anywhere.
Okay,
That I am confident about.
you do have the guns.
More than that. But I will say this. If the Justicar turns out to be in Demeric's pocket, well, then our secret weapon will be all that much more potent.
That's true. That's true. Okay, I got a mission for tomorrow.
Yeah, you're out first thing in the morning, so till
First thing in the
then,
morning.
might be best to, if you're not going to go handle that now, maybe stay indoors. Don't get seen.
That's the plan.
Okay. Uh, well, you have what you intend to do, I think. Kaiza like separates herself from the table, gets herself a drink, and clearly has made room arrangements with Kavi, and she's sat down at a farther table. Looks like she's trying to calm down.
I'm actually gonna approach her. Um, hey, this is a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I know I'm not your favorite person. Um,
You just kind
is
of
there
turned
any
my whole world upside down.
is there anything I can do?
Turn back time a little.
Well, here's my question. Tam sits down. Is that really what you want?
No,
I didn't think so.
I wish I'd have seen it before.
How could you have?
I always notice little things. Just Like, like Caldwell telling me to mind my own business, don't ask questions where I don't need to. That the other watch is they're doing their job and I need to worry about mine. I'm fresh meat. I don't need to dig my nose into what other watchers are doing. But
Wouldn't that happen in any town, though? It's not
sure,
on you. It's not on you that you didn't see the big conspiracy. You just got here.
I didn't just get here.
The big conspiracy is really well hidden.
Well, I was too busy trying to make sure I looked good for Roper that I didn't pay attention. Too busy trying to bag miscreants and street urchins. Could have done so
You
much
know,
better.
doing your job.
You make it hard for someone to be pissed at themselves.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are pissed at themselves a lot. And I've found it's not very helpful.
Why are you doing this?
Doing what? Trying to make you not feel pissed at yourself?
Sure.
Or, oh, do you mean why am I doing this job?
That was what I originally meant, yeah.
Well, I'll be straight. I'm a mercenary and I was hired to bring the Krabers, you know, here, relatively undetected and without scorn from people. I didn't know about the bigger stuff until I got here and they kind of in. And that's allowed under my contract. So,
It's all just because you're getting
uh,
paid.
no. I mean, I didn't have to take this job. I didn't have to stick around. But I think I told you in our first conversation, I'm kind of a weird mercenary.
You did mention that, and I have to
uh,
say, you were right.
I listen. I'm pretty self-aware. If nothing else, I'm pretty self-aware. Um, and I don't. I'm a bard. I don't like solving conflict with swords if I can. I'm the guy that likes to talk first and punch second. And what's appealing to me about this job is it really seems like, especially if you do, no punches need to be thrown. I mean, obviously some will be. There's ambushes like today, but if the more that can be done bloodless on a high level, that's going to be good for everybody.
Roll a persuasion check.
24.
24. Kaisa looks at you. She seems to be considering something. I found something else.
Yeah?
You say you want it to be bloodless, but I don't think it started that way.
What do you mean?
My investigations today took me into Castletown a lot, up near the actual palace. And, well, an informant of mine from in the castle gave me something.
What was it?
She sets on the table a single six-sided die.
Oh.
On the face, on the face facing up, is the side of the die that would normally have 6 pips, but it has 7.
Okay. Do I recognize this?
Roll a history check.
21.
You've heard stories of a 7-pipped die, meaning the 7th trellis.
Tam exhales a slow breath. Assassins.
Yeah.
Okay. Assassins that leave a calling card and let you know what has happened.
No, they don't. 7 pip die, from what I remember, in Academy and Shorewatch, is what you use to get the 7th Trellis's attention when you're not part of them. It's how you find them.
I see.
You play dice or cards with the 7 pip die, and word gets out that you're looking for him.
I guess the question is, who is Demeric? If it is Demeric, who is he going after?
I don't know if it's Demeric.
But it's somebody.
Someone had a 7 pip die. Someone had the means to summon a hitman. A hitman who, by all rights, the 7th Trellis are real good at what they do.
Yeah.
I have my own suspicions, but I can't put my finger on any of them. There's no hard evidence.
Would you share it?
I mean, if all this rolls back to Demeric needing to be in a position of power, he would need that position to be open, wouldn't he?
He would need, but he's already on the throne.
Right. So it worked.
Oh, I see. That you think that somebody he's already the deed is not the deed that's going to be done, it's the deed that's already been done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you straight, that was kind of my suspicion too. And I suspected suspicion of half the town. But you're right, there's no hard evidence.
It's also different to think it and then find a piece alluding to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if what I think is true, and our current majesty paid to have the old one killed off, sending all of this nation into unrest, also he can do some weird economic play, make himself and his friends rich.
I don't know if it's just about that. I mean, it's money and power are intimately connected, but I don't think it's just about Aurelia.
Clearly
You know?
not. If it was just
Right.
about Aurelia, why would they start a war with Ko?
Right. I still don't quite understand that piece of it, but I do think that if they can change their whole currency, the whole nation will be much richer. Not just him, not just his friends.
I don't
If
know
they
if
can,
I don't know if that's true. There's not that much riverine out there.
maybe not. But this is a kind of plan that this is the kind of plan that seems so calculated. It probably works on a level that I haven't thought of. But if there's going to be if what you're trying to change is something as indelible as a whole country's currency, there's got to be some level to it that isn't just about the war. It's got to be something else.
What if it's the other way around?
What do you mean? The war is a distraction and it's really KO that
Yeah,
comes out on top somehow?
because I thought Demeric was Kayan. Or not, maybe Kayan, but has friends there. Am I crazy?
Is Demeric Kayan this whole time? Has he been Kayan? History check?
Roll history.
I know Dura is. Oh, I super like 8.
8? You don't know.
I don't know.
have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
Yeah, I think Tam is as surprised as I am. You think the war is just a distraction?
I think we can't leave anything else. We can't leave anything uncovered.
Yeah, I think that's true.
You hear some shuffling, and you see Turk nearby. You realize he's close enough to hear your conversation.
Okay. Hey, Turk.
Hey,
Do you have input?
on the surface, I think House Demeric's Aurelian.
Okay.
I
The idea
never...
of start-
Sorry, go ahead.
the idea of starting a war as a distraction is devious, but I also seems expensive.
Not if you can pay for it with the other country's materials.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I wonder how he got that set up, though. The operation is huge and so secret. And you're right, there's not much riverine. So I think there was something about foundries.
If we could...
Fa-
What we need to focus on is what's in the city right now.
yeah,
If you can get Sergeant Edie on her side, he has the beat. He has the men. Because the Gold's Watch is smaller than the City Guard by a lot. City Guard handles all the other districts. Like the Gold's Watch they answer to the Crown, right? So the City Guard is basically, they handle,
the rest of the city.
yeah, everything else.
Also, the city guard probably, especially if some of them are out of town mercenaries, the city better than the Gold's Watch does.
Yeah, you'd expect. So if we get Edie, if we can bend his ear, get him to see what's going on, he can start looking for, heavily laden carts heading to the Aurelian Mint.
Yeah.
Can start actually, getting some more of this evidence that it has to be there. For them to get coins minting, there has to be a trail.
Yes. I mean, I think it might be a little difficult, the mint in particular, because it's pretty well warded. But someone with authority has a lot more say.
Yeah, someone
Than
like a
I
sergeant.
I do, for example.
Or if he could even get one of the captains in.
Yeah.
What we need is more people.
He's from here, right?
I don't know.
The sergeant?
I don't know. I just know what I know by rumor. I just know that he's famous for never, ever taking a crooked bribe or bending a rule.
Okay. That's good to know.
I knew his name over in Shorewatch, which...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a feat. Okay.
I think
And
maybe he's an Azamar or Vion or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That explains a lot. Yeah, okay. So he's trustworthy.
By reputation, that's for certain. I don't know about in practice. He might just be that good at being crooked. I've known some real wily ones.
That's true, but I don't know. I knew some. I didn't know him really well. There was a guy that worshipped Vion back at the academy, and he. I don't know. Vion doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very tricky to follow.
Well, what I know is from rumor, so he might not actually be one.
That's true. That's fair. What do I remember about Vion?
Roll me a religion check.
Oh, that's history. Sorry, but I think my religion is the same. Yeah, my religion is the same. 22.
Vion. With a 22, you actually know a good amount about Vion. He is the lawful good, god of war, justice, and vengeance. He is known, he's one of the oldest gods. He's one of the only gods with such a firm and perfect sense of right and wrong that he may contest the judgments of Croesus.
Ooh, okay.
He's always depicted in a full suit of armor And he's known as the Protector or the Guardian.
Okay. Yeah, truly based on this description, even rumor, like, and based on what Tam knows of this guy and how his armor. Yeah, that sounds like Sword of Vion. I think we're gonna be fine. um,
Kaiser, again, says, mine'll be an act. The only thing better than
maybe.
being incorruptible is to make people think you are.
Yeah, that's true. It could be an act, but also, um, I don't think Vion would take very well to that as a god. I think
What's he
that would
gonna
be a
do?
hard. I think that'd be a. What's a god gonna do?
Yeah, he's not gonna smite him himself.
Or maybe not, but gods have servants. I should
Right,
know.
sure, but other gods do too, and if, what if this guy follows some god of trickery or something?
Maybe.
They might be an Azamar, just not a Vion, and could be faking it.
I guess that's true.
Gotta look at it from all angles. It can't just be, a straight line all the time.
I. Yeah, that's true.
You seem to know your gods. Like, there's gotta be at least another god of trickery.
Masquerade.
Yeah, there's one. I knew that one.
I. My parents are clerics.
Right, so what if an Azamar is an Azamar of Masquerade? What would they do? They'd fuck with people, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they would. It
Look,
would. It would be. Seems like it would be a big gambit, but yeah, you're
take
right.
it from a detective, okay? Don't assume anything.
Okay.
If you only look for what you already think is the case, that's all you'll find.
That's true.
I know it's true. It was drilled into my fucking head for years.
Yeah, I think
Everyone has biases.
that's true. I guess mine are more on the side of wanting to see the good in people,
Yeah,
like you.
you don't have to... Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
Look, I appreciate what you and the Cravers are doing here. I really hope that it comes out with me not getting stabbed in the neck like Inega did.
Yeah, I can see how that would be really scary.
Yeah, I wasn't even supposed to find that. That wasn't my beat today.
How did then? How did you find?
I've
I know you were kind of looking around in different places than you are usually.
Yeah, I was following Caldwell.
Uh, did he kill him? Did you
No,
see him?
but he was investigating it. When he slipped away, I got in and got a good look. Found
I
that bit of
see.
paper.
I see.
Your purple friend isn't the only one who can be sneaky.
You're a detective, I know. Um, is there anything I can do to help you feel protected?
Having a safe house like this helps.
Yeah. It looks like it's just a bar, tavern, you know.
It is just a bar. But there's
Oh,
a
well,
lot of hardware hidden in here.
there is. It's true.
I think your old man knew things might come to blows.
Yeah, he's pretty well stocked in that regard.
Suppose it makes sense for a
He's for a weapons dealer, yeah, and he's the guy to do it. There's a
yeah,
lot of stuff in the cart that he didn't tell us about.
of course. Seems like the sort of guy to only let those who need to know know.
That's yeah, that's pretty much been the the MO.
I've never wanted to be partial to firearms myself, but I will admit they do have a particular efficiency about them.
Tam, what is she wearing? What kind of weapon does she have on?
Kaiza?
Mm-hmm.
Roll investigation.
That is 6.
6. You don't see any weapons on her.
Huh. So you're so sneaky that you don't fight, then?
I fight when I have to.
Oh,
It happens.
what with? Oh, with your fists.
No. She opens her jack, and you see nestled under her arm in a shoulder holster is a hand crossbow.
Oh, yeah, that's
And then
different.
along the inside of the jack, you see a lot of daggers hanging from it.
Is she a rogue? Can I? Does she look?
She,
Does this remind me of Skullnuff?
um, she moves with an assurance and dexterity that makes you think of Skolna.
Okay.
You think she probably is a rogue. She's definitely not. She doesn't strike you as any sort of mage or ranger. She could be a fighter, just a very dexterous one.
Huh. Yeah, those are good tools. I mostly talk, but
I know.
I can fight when I have to. It was helpful today.
I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of nicks in that blade.
Oh well, he takes out Soul Singer. I mean, she's real magical, so you can't really. It's hard to mess with her.
Oh. All right. She is impressive. And you are again reminded that Soul Singer is an absolutely beautiful blade. That seems to vibrate the air around it just as
Yep.
it is out in the air.
She is more than impressive. She's legendary.
All right. Okay. I don't have anything like that, but I can use what I have.
I'm not trying to one up you. Uh my final project for school was telling the story of this particular blade. Um and so I'm partial.
Uh-huh. My final project in the academy was busting up a drug ring and bringing in one of their enforcers.
I think your final project was
It wasn't really a project. It was just something that I fell into.
yeah.
Yeah. Me and a few of the other cadets ended up doing that.
I bet it got you promoted, I imagine.
Got me here.
How'd you come into this?
Recommendation, she says with a little bit of a foul look on her mouth.
No. I don't mean come into here. I mean, like, get into detective work in the first place.
Oh. Roll a persuasion.
I think they've been talking long enough. He orders her another drink.
Okay. 26.
It's gonna be, though, can he get something that's close to that, like, they had this cranberry fruit thing, like a melon fruit thing, when they talked at the bar that one time?
Yeah.
And I imagine that bars have different stuff, but can he order, like, essentially that for her?
You order that, and Cavi's like, I could try. I think we have what we need for that.
I believe in you.
And then he does make that. She seems amused as that drink arrives on the table.
That's the flavor for the 26.
Okay. Well, long story short, because I don't feel like sitting here and talking about it for an hour. She considers her words before she begins, and she says, my daddy was from Trident, and, well, specifically Perselis, and, he used to be on the wrong side of the law. He worked for some, I guess ne'er-do-wells is the wrong word. He got mixed up with the wrong crowd. Doing stuff. He never really was straight with me, but I kind of pieced all this together over time. You know the Demon King Nagora?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the story.
Yeah. Well, the Prismatic Tithing, the cult that followed him, had a lot of constituents all over the place. They had lots of, guilds, is what Daddy called them. He worked for their guild. And he would extort people for their belongings.
So he was really on the wrong side.
Yeah, he was. And I don't know if you... I mean, when I was a little girl living in the slums of Perselis, I was happy to get whatever it was he gave me. But when I got a little older, got a little wiser, I saw where all this was coming from. And they were asking him to do things that were worse. Worse than just taking. Things like applying leverage, getting people to do things they don't want to do. Getting people to say things to people that they don't want to say. One day, I came across him outside a bar. Little halfling joint. Real famous for ale. Elderberry ale.
Oh, yeah, we have that. We have that at home.
Yeah, real popular around there.
Delicious.
I came across him and a few of his, I don't want to call them buddies, but partners, associates. They were outside the bar. They were setting up something. They had crossbows, and they were aiming them.
Like an ambush.
Yep, they were aiming them at windows and doors. And I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to do anything, but I saw a little boy walk out that door. And I saw my daddy loose a bolt. Or start to. He raised it to aim. And I shouted no. Little boy heard me and he ran back inside. And I had to run from my dad that day.
Saved his life, though.
I hope so. Ran to the city guard. He didn't know I was running to the city guard. He followed me. Yelling that I didn't know what I was doing. And as I rounded the corner, I knew there was city guard around that corner, and I ran right to him, and I said, help, my daddy's gonna kill me.
Oh,
the guard looked up. My daddy came right around that corner, crossbow raised. I put my daddy in jail that day. I was never so scared for my life as running from my own father, so I wanted to be the one that could help another little girl scared of their own family. So I saved what I could, worked my way across the puddle, Eventually learned that Shore Watch was the place to go if you want to learn to be the best. Grew up. Well, I grew up. Spent 6 years just living in Shore Watch. Doing odd jobs.
What about your mom? Did she help you?
My mommy's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, I never knew her. He said it was my fault.
What a terrible thing to tell your daughter.
My daddy wasn't kind.
No, clearly not.
That's...
But you are.
you don't know me that well yet.
I know that you were kind enough to save someone's life when you were how old? 6?
I was 11.
11? And then dedicated your life in service of making sure that something like that wouldn't happen to the next person.
It's the only right thing to do.
Maybe it's not kind, but it is noble.
Yeah, sure. Anyway.
Wait, stop. Hey, don't do that. Don't minimize your own nobility.
I put my only kin in jail that day.
Okay, well, I know that that's complicated, but he was wrong.
Yeah, he was. He made a mistake. He was working for the wrong people. Does that mean I think he deserves to rot away for the rest of his life? No. But he's gonna.
And you don't think that that's kind?
No.
To think about the person that might have killed you and be sympathetic to him?
I don't believe he was gonna kill me. I said that because I was scared and I needed to get the guard's attention.
You don't have to believe me. But I think you're noble. And I think you're kind.
Well, thanks, Tam. That's kind of you to say.
Thanks.
And she
I know.
takes a sip of the drink finally, and she says, "It's almost the same."
What's almost the same? Oh. I mean, Cabby's good at bartending. You know, he doesn't have quite the same ingredient.
She looks up and she says, "Needs a little mango." Cabby just nods and says, "I'll remember that. Mango."
I bet he will. He's real smart.
Do I even have mango? He like goes behind the counter.
I'll let you be. I know you need some time with your thoughts, but I appreciate you giving some extra evidence. I guess more speculation right now. I'm not going to take this to them because I don't think you would like that.
It's just speculation.
Because it's just speculation, yeah.
You have the hard evidence I found.
I do. Yes, that's the more important piece. And
Don't
then
get seen with that by a Gold's Watch, by the way, or you likely will not see the next day.
Oh yeah, I think the easiest thing is give it to Skulna. She'll be able to hide it better than I will, probably.
That is something I like about her.
Yeah, she's very competent. I mean, and also maybe if Annabelle finds Wood, I think she's gonna find that Riverine too.
Yeah, that would be if you can tie that to which farm was it at?
Hold please. Well,
Okay.
Emily checks her notes.
Sure.
We went to farm. Severed farm.
Son of a bitch.
What?
I had a lead out there. I was not even 2 weeks ago. I was some asshole was holed up in Severed Farm.
Really?
Didn't go in the barn. I didn't look in the barn.
What was he holed up for?
He He robbed a jewelry store.
Ah, I see. So it was kind of a wrong place, wrong time
Yeah,
situation.
he got out there and was hidden underneath their chicken coops, and I just couldn't. I didn't think to look in the barn because there
But
he
why would
was.
you? Oh, you found him. Why would you have?
I wouldn't have. It's just small world coincidence.
Coincidence. Yeah, coincidence. It's not your job to notice everything.
Yeah, it is.
It's your job
That
to
is
notice
my
the
job.
things. It's the job. Your job is to notice the things that you need to notice.
Which is
You found a
everything.
guy under a chicken coop. You did your job.
Well, he smelled horrible when we pulled him in,
Uh huh.
so
Of
that's a
course.
slight
Under-
consolation.
Yeah. So don't beat yourself up for missing it. Okay.
I promise I'll stop beating myself up for not noticing the barns full of crates of Riverine.
Good. Honestly, that's probably better because if you had, think of what could happen to you.
I either would have got bought off or killed, and knowing me, I would have got killed.
You would have got killed. You would. I don't believe for a second you would have gotten. Better that you didn't notice. You can help us.
You're right. She
Okay.
quietly sips her drink, seemingly lost in thought.
I said I was gonna let you be. I'm gonna do that.
She nods.
You sleep well, okay?
Doubt that, but I'll try.
I'm gonna give a little trill. I know it's gonna only last 10 minutes, and this is ridiculous, but he's gonna play a little lick on the fiddle and give her bardic inspiration.
Okay. You give her a bardic inspiration. As Kaizenel, the ex-detective, joins their retrieval program. And that is where we are going to stop tonight's session.
Excellent.
Whew. All right. A lot was revealed today. I hope you had a good time.
So many things.
To those of you who are at home or at work watching, hi Pen, hi class, hi Emily,
Hey.
hi everybody. We love you all. And I wish you all a good night.